launching Allumer to the world,
Yeah.
I feel like we're the biggest kept secret at the minute.
Yeah.
All this branding and all this imagination, we strive to be at the peak of lighting. Performance, efficiency, optical control. I still walk into a warehouse now, and when those lights go on and off, dim down, it still gives me a buzz. Business has got to be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And we've got to be collaborative, and we've got to work together. And when I walk out, they always go to me, "Oh, you're bonkers, John," but great product.
How you doing, man?
Good, man.
Good,
Yeah, really
good. Right, let's do this. Should we get into it?
Absolutely.
All right,
Smash
so
it.
I just wanted to talk to you, like we've spoken quite a lot before about how Allumer came about and kind of the birth of Allumer. And am I pronouncing it right?
Definitely.
Okay.
Allumer.
Allumer. So how did it all start? You've been in the industry a long time.
A long,
haven't
long
you?
time. Allumer, firstly, is we've got a little French connection. So Allumer is French for to light up,
Okay.
and we like to think we light up places when we go.
Awesome.
And obviously with the lighting connection, and it started a long, long time ago, and been in lighting for a long time, and this is my dream.
Okay.
To
Because this is your own business now.
own business. We
Yeah.
started it from nothing, just with a passion of creating myself what I wanted to bring to the industry.
Okay.
Just always been very, very customer focused, wanting to give my clients the little bit extra that defines me against just those salesmen out there. Once you've got the engagement, then it's about looking after people.
Yeah.
And following it through, and actually they come back again. And if you were there for them and you provide them with a solution, then they'd stick with you. And that's been the case, along the journey throughout my whole career. People sticking with me, and maybe a bit of a downfall because you're only one person, but you build a team of people around you, and that collaborative approach, it does work, as we've proven at Allumer.
Yeah, absolutely. So what did you see in the industry then that made you think, actually, I'd like to do this myself, and I'd like to do it in the way that you're doing it?
I think the biggest thing is people that get into lighting. LED was a massive turn of events in lighting.
Okay. Did that change the industry?
Massively, because prior to that, it was about optical control, about reflectors, or overnight it became where you could buy an LED board, you can import it from China, it's plug and play. So a lot of people got into the industry. It opened up a whole new world to venture capitalists, people looking at financing deals. And the majority of people go down the imported route, where my vision is, well, actually, there's no reason to do that.
Okay.
Actually makes my job easier.
Right.
We strive to be at the peak of lighting.
Yeah.
Performance, efficiency, optical control, and actually understanding in an environment like a warehousing or what that light needs to do, how you control that light, and how you put that into the room or racking aisle or production area. We're not just smashing light down on the floor. We're producing a product that actually makes your environment pleasant to work in.
Okay. So there's a pride in the product.
Absolutely. I mean, our first product was like our third child.
Okay.
It's born from. I was very technically aware, but never involved in production.
Yeah.
My previous role was the sales director, so very involved in the process. But in my years of experience in the electrical, lighting, and manufacturing industry, I learned. And in the last 2 years, I've learned even more.
Right.
And that comes from wanting the product to be robust, wanting it to be easy to work on, easy to install, performs well, and one of the critical things we'll come on to later, I think, Phil, is control. Okay. Controlling the light and sensors, and offering the client a product that adds proper value.
Yeah, and that's really important as well, isn't it? You really believe in the product.
Absolutely.
And does that give you more confidence when you're speaking to a client, because absolutely everything about it, whereas previously you were working for other people.
Yeah, you believe, propaganda's massive, isn't it? When you're working for a company, you believe what you're told.
Yeah, yeah.
When you actually own a company and you put your heart and soul into the product, you know what's in that product, and you know what you're saying is true.
It's your name.
My name, my risk, my responsibility.
Yeah.
And when you light a warehouse with 600 or 700 products, one thing that's always been drummed into me is it's all right having a failure on a component, but the expensive bit is getting to it. When it's 20 meters in the air or 50 meters in the air and one product goes down, you know, to date, we've probably put into the market 3,000 to 4,000 products, and we've not had a failure.
Fantastic.
But that's all down to our chosen partners.
Okay.
Componentry, which is, and of course we will have failures.
And how would you handle a failure?
Failure is about reactivity, and especially in the industry we work in logistics. It's about, you know, not having a return to base policy where we will go out with access equipment, we will go to that product, and we will fix it.
Okay.
You know, it's all right saying send me your fitting back, I'll send you a new one out, but if he's got to go up there and get into a lifter and put it up, it's pretty useless, really.
Yeah, and it kind of stops production their end, or stops
absolutely,
or can hamper.
And I think all blue chip companies we deal with, you know, the high end tech people like your Apples and your Sonos and your Philips Hue.
Yeah.
Customer service is at the forefront of that. You got a problem with a Philips Hue product, bang, a new driver's there the next day.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and that's Apple. You know, you bang, done. They've got confidence in that. You don't stop answering the phone.
So it's that premium service that you want to give. So you've got kind of your range of products and you're developing them all the time, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
So how does the service side fit in? You've got the products that you're developing and supplying, but then you also have the service as well, don't you?
Definitely. I mean, the product development is something that was a massive learning curve for all the directors in the business. You know, we've got an element of over 75 years of experience, you know, from electrical consultancy, electrical installation, building management and civils, and lighting design and lighting. Yeah. So bring that together, and our boardroom was in meltdown.
Right.
We had many aspects, and it opened up a cave to me that I didn't even existed, because we as lighting manufacturers would design a product that we thought would be suitable. Yeah. Then you've got the installer, you've got the electrical consultant, you've got the civils guy, all putting their input. Man, the product just evolved, and you know, and actually it made me realise that quality, when being employed by a company, you go and put a product on a desk. Yeah. One thing that's really cool is the meetings I go to now, if we're going to see a client doing a tender process, they all love the meetings with me. Okay. Because the previous people, they're salesmen, they're a sales director, but when I go in, it's the owner. Yeah. And that product on that desk was designed by me, and whatever I say about that product and whatever I want to commit to, they know. And we have I bring my personality to it as well. Yeah. Because you know what? Business has got to be fun. Yeah, definitely. And we've got to be collaborative, and we've got to work together. And when I walk out, they always go to me, "You're bonkers, John," but great product.
Brilliant. Okay. And why do they call you bonkers? Is that because of the enthusiasm you show?
I think the enthusiasm just is.
And they're probably surprised that someone could be that enthusiastic about lights.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You know, I still walk into a warehouse now, and when those lights go on and off, dim down, it still gives me a buzz. Yeah.
So
I love my time lapses. And people know my time lapses.
Okay. Yeah.
Time lapses was videoing lights and giving them a demonstration. Yeah. You open your iPad, you've got a split second. Oh yeah. Especially busy people, owners of companies, and you're watching a video. You're like, hold on a minute, time lapse changed my life. Okay. It's like, watch this.
Because people actually see the lights cut. It's just like a beautiful visual, isn't it?
Thank you, Apple.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's great because you get that moment in time, done and dusted. Job's a good one.
Yeah.
And people can then visually see savings.
Yeah,
They
because
can
they realise
see-
their whole warehouse doesn't have to be lit all the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, from my understanding, the products that you provide will automatically turn on and off at different times, and you can schedule that.
Absolutely.
And sensor based.
Well, that's where we open up a can of worms, because there's sensors and the sensors, you know, and that's where I think as a UK manufacturer of product, we can access steel, we can access paint lines.
Yeah.
I've learned in the last 2 years that actually outsourcing within the UK is massive. We had a financial situation where we could invest in machinery to bend metal, paint metal, but you know what? People out there are good at that.
Yeah, and that's supporting individual businesses.
Absolutely.
As well, which is great for the country. It's great for kind of people working in the country.
Yeah, exactly. The Black Country, where we're based in Wolverhampton, in the centre of the country, is we're surrounded by skills.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by craftsmen, and we've tapped into that.
Yeah.
And it's been supported massively.
That's brilliant.
So this is before we even get into lights.
Yeah.
So
you're building the whole infrastructure around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
But then once you've got your vehicle, it's then about what you put on that vehicle. And we've massively invested with partners of quality components at the peak performance. Why make an LED board when we can go to the European leaders and get efficiency and reputation and quality backed by really good warranties?
Yeah.
So whether you're new business, old business, the support of the suppliers behind you is massive.
Yeah.
Because they can say, listen, these are the daddies.
Yeah.
And we put that together with the quality of our carcass, our metalwork, couple that with optics, and you've got a really, really lovely product.
Okay.
However, the next element is, as UK manufacturers, one thing that the world's gone into is controls.
Yeah.
And I think the weakness in lighting is controls.
And when you say controls, just explain that a bit to me.
So we want to optimize the way we use energy and light within a building.
Yeah.
And we want to make it comfortable for the client, and we want to make it so that it's a nice environment. And it's bad, I hate the word, but it's a nice environment for an operative, a worker.
No, the space for people to work in is important.
Absolutely.
It feels right, and it's got the right lighting, right temperature, all of those things are important.
And that's why we've created this area here.
Yeah.
You know, we wanted, this is our area that we work in.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, we wanted a nice environment for people to assemble products and put products together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important for us. As a UK, we've been very good at bending metal, putting things together. One thing that I've opened my eyes to is that there's a lot of companies out there. As we know, the internet's massive.
Yeah.
Controls, as in controlling products, there's different levels, and there's companies that have spent millions and millions of pounds developing products and networks and mesh networks to work with lighting. That why try and reinvent the wheel?
Yeah.
So I've gone out to the market. I've really looked at what can I go to a client and say to you, Phil, I'm not going to try and sell you something I've got off the shelf, but I'm going to actually tailor this to your situation, and the products out there, I'm going to couple, like I've done with my LED boards, like I've done with my optics, and like I've done with my drivers. I'm actually going to now do the same with the controls.
Okay.
And there's people out there trying to develop their own stuff, and whether that's driven by margin, whether it's driven by wanting to be in control, my view is don't rebrand it. Don't try and make it out somebody else's. It's at mine.
It's yours,
It's actually, there's a quality product. I'm going to stand behind it. They're standing behind me, and look what it can do for your warehouse.
Yeah, and you bring it in within your system, the lights that you create and the service that you provide.
And that's really been the next level to me, to then say anybody can create a light fitting, really, with a bit of knowledge, but actually the next level is controls.
Okay.
And actually making, warehousing is a massive use of a client's energy.
Yeah.
So let's look at that, let's make it right, and let's
And in terms of achieving their ISO standards for the environment and everything, how do you fit in to that, or how can you fit in?
We've got to make it a safe environment for them.
Right.
You know, these guys are driving several ton V&A machines. They're picking massive cartons, pallets of paint, of dog food, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it has to be safe.
Yeah.
And that's where we fit in, making sure that environment is safe and nice.
Yeah.
But also, when we're installing products or doing projects, we've got to make sure that the product goes up quick, easy, and basically so we don't impact on that warehouse's operation.
Okay.
The retrofit market
so there's minimal downtime.
Absolutely, yeah. New builds is a world in its own. You know, new build sheds. We all go down the M1 and the M40.
Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of clients that have got existing sheds, existing operations.
Yeah.
So we want to go in there. We save a lot of energy, but also we understand that their operation is.
So how would a typical retrofit work then?
We'd start off with a survey. We'd work with a client. We'd demonstrate. We'd generally power log. So we'd put on the lighting circuit, we'd power log the board for a period of time. We'd then install sample areas, re-power log, and we'd demonstrate.
So just explain to me who doesn't know the industry, power log, what does that mean?
So we log we basically put a machine onto the existing circuit boards.
Yeah.
We can remotely monitor that, the energy usage.
Right.
And then we swap the lights, and then we do a direct comparative.
Okay, so you can see the improvements that you've made.
Yeah, and that's
so it's
really
quantifiable then?
Absolutely quantifiable.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why it's imperative you have the most efficient, the most highest performing product.
Yeah.
You can put in there, because we know that actually you can buy an LED product now that is less performing than the traditional T5 and the fluorescent tube type products, but people think LED is the elixir of life.
Right, we've been
LED.
sold that.
So
we've been sold that LED will last a lifetime, and okay.
And that's why we can talk about B numbers, L numbers, far too technical to the layman. All you want to know is how long that's going to last. Yeah. How expectant failures you're going to get, and all quality manufacturers give that. And if the client, it's my job to educate, or our job, and the industry's job to educate the clients that actually, I'll go against anybody that is going to put a quality product in there. But you know what? Don't give me the order, but let me educate you, and don't put that product in, because it's going to cost you a lot of money.
So which is kind of counterintuitive. It sounds like you genuinely want to help the clients.
So we've always done that from the very beginning, and it's always been my ethos. I've always done that. You know what, don't buy my product, but let me educate you.
Yeah.
If I can educate you. So I was a sales director, and I think, people say to me, what is a sales director? Now, I think the world we work in now is that a sales director is someone that has shiny shoes and goes out there and sells ice to an Eskimo. Well, actually, to me, that's not interested in me. Yeah. I want to educate people, and you know what? If you want the product, you'll see that through what we do and how we do it.
Yeah,
Come and look at our facility. It's clean. It's immaculate. We've got processes. We've got, we're working towards ISO currently.
Yeah.
And we've got, every product of Allumer gets tested by the LIA.
Okay.
So that is the Lighting Industry Federation. So they actually got test houses, and it's making sure that everything's performing within the parameters to give the best result.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wanted to ask you a bit of a question about what kind of wakes you up in the morning. Like, when you wake up in the morning, what are you thinking about your day, going to work, the business? Like, what runs through your head, and what motivates you?
Chasing that next order, getting that satisfaction of, seeing something, especially with your own business, of seeing something from woe to go. Okay. Seeing our Luton van being loaded up with pallets of lights, knowing that 18 months ago that was a drawing on the board, you know.
Okay.
And also to know that when I come in the office, you know, you want to enthuse people. It doesn't have to be pressure, it can be fun.
Okay.
And with that fun comes success, and we can all in it together, you know.
So how do you run the company then? Like, what is the culture? Is it fun? It sounds like
I'm very hands-on, hands-on, and very much of a collaborative. I use that word a lot, but you know, I would never ask anybody to do something that I wouldn't do.
Okay.
Terry, who runs our production now, has refused to allow me to go onto the production line because I cause chaos.
Okay. Right.
But I love it, and I keep my hand in, and you know, we've got a great production team that do a great job. But I like to be over everything. I do like to be involved. Maybe that can be a weakness, but I do like to be in control of everything and know it's going in the right direction.
And why is that? Why do you like that control aspect of it?
Because I've got high standards and I want it to be the best.
Okay.
Want it to be the best.
Yeah.
I want people to know that when a product of ours rocks up, from the, you know, we've got this mutual love of orange. You know, we can stick a white box in the roof, but you know what? Ours is matte black with a beautiful orange lid.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, some might say the orange lid is there for safety, so you don't trip it up.
Yeah.
That was, if I'm honest, a secondary thought, but we do use it now.
Yeah, absolutely,
It's orange, and when someone sees an orange product or an orange, it's, you know.
Yeah, so that can be your mark of quality and kind of assurance to the client.
Listen,
that actually you're not just buying the standard white box, it's that quality, mark of quality.
I don't drive a grey car.
Yeah.
I drive an orange EV car.
Okay.
You know, it's got to be orange.
Yeah. So what is it about the orange that kind of inspires you? Like, because you're really passionate about orange.
Yeah.
Everywhere we look, in the office, in the warehouse, it's orange. Even through to the products, to your watch, like your car, everything, your hats.
It's just a bright, happy colour.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it grey.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. Orange is just powerful colour.
Yeah. So are you trying to kind of, you know, show people that that's kind of what you want to promote is a positive
experience.
Yeah, positive company
and
happy and joyful
absolutely.
and Do you think those things are overlooked in business?
Definitely, I think it's you know, especially since COVID, it's you know, there's a very much of a me culture. Like, you know what, I had a really big reality check, and now I need to get what I can.
Yeah, okay.
Get what I can,
yeah.
and you know, but I'm a big investor in, you know, if your guys come to work happy, they have flexi time. All our guys have flexi time.
Right.
And you know what? I see the rewards of it.
Okay.
Because when we're busy, and we're pumping out hundreds of fittings, we're all hands to the deck. You know, we're in at 4. You know, I'll get across here at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting some prep done myself before the guys come in to make their day easier. Yeah. But then sometimes, you know, it's quieter, so the guys will go home early. Now that is my culture. Some people say it's bonkers, but actually, no, I just think that way, you know, I'm sure over time it'll bite us, but you know what? Big Brother's gone. It's now, you need to empower people. Yeah. Maintain control, maintain authority, but also empower people. Because I tell you something, the new people coming through we're seeing and working with now, they want to be treated in a way that empowers them. They can be flexible, and actually, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're still sort of hung over from the Victorian work ethic, aren't we? To some degree, it's like, right, you turn up at that time, you go home at that time, you work those many days a year,
exactly,
and you're just grinding it out. And I think if you empower people, you know, they're all adults, they're all humans. It's like they'll if they feel valued, genuinely valued, they'll work hard anyway, as we all will.
And if we make a mistake, we jump in together. You know, even some of our suppliers may make mistakes, but it's an old cliche, but it's how we get to the end, how we sort the ultimate end client out. Yeah. And actually, you know, people that support us, electrical contractors, we're not out to shaft them. And I think that's what, for many years, I've worked with my electrical contractors. and they're the conduit to a lot of our work.
Yeah.
The electrical contractor is a powerful tool for us.
Yeah.
They're the ones at the coalface in all these scenarios.
Okay.
And you know what? There's a real thought in the marketplace that OEM, original and equipment manufacturers, will, at any opportunity, will jump over that contractor to go and deal with the end user. Do you know what? I see him as a great partner.
Yeah.
Great partner. Yes, I would love to deal with the end users, but do you know something? All my career, my route to market was through the electrical contractor.
Okay, yeah. So you're valuing them and
Absolutely.
their role within it.
And they know they've got, they with no issues will take me into their client, and we work together to the end goal.
Yeah. So there's a trust there.
Absolute trust.
Yeah.
And the minute you pull the rug from under their feet, it's gone.
Yeah, definitely.
You might make a bit of extra money, but once.
Yeah, but it's short-lived, isn't it?
Of course, yes.
And if you're looking to build a sustainable, long-term business, which you are, then you have to have that trust and you
Absolutely.
have to have that approach. How does it affect the client, all of this, though? So your ethos and your kind of structure and the way you see the business, how does that affect the client?
I think that as long as the client gets the right product, and that's what I'm passionate about, making sure that the client gets the right product. Doesn't every time.
Yeah.
But as I've said to you before, I'd rather educate a client knowing what he makes the ultimate choice.
Yeah.
And so does the contractor, they can make their choice. But I'd like to think if they put a quality product in, they get that's functionally very sound for the client, it'll pay it back in spades.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And that's what it's proven.
Yeah.
And that's what we talk about controls, we want to add the control element, whether it's emergency reporting systems.
Yeah.
We want to not sell them something they don't want because we've got it on the shelf. We want to sell them something that adds true value.
Yeah, that's actually going to be a benefit to their business.
In 15 years, I've worked with controls that I can safely say that majority of control systems don't work.
Okay.
Whether it be wired or wireless, they just become really, really cantankerous.
Right.
And in a fast-moving distribution, food storage business, it's like, you know what? I've not got time for this.
No.
I want my light on. It's got a PIR in it, and I want it to work.
Yeah.
And if I can add some extra benefit of that, which you've sold me the dream on, and many manufacturers have, then great.
Yeah.
But the minute it doesn't work, let's just crack on, because we make money out of distributing storage and sorting or manufacturing components, whatever. So that's what's important, and that's what we feel we've found a real niche in offering quality controls, robust.
Okay.
And not many people like a shed, but I love a warehouse.
Okay.
I love a dirty warehouse.
Yeah. That you can see all lit up.
Absolutely.
You see that as a canvas.
I think to myself, you know what? This will do you. We can do your emergency reporting system. Yeah, we don't have to have routers and we don't have to. We all use these sort of things here, so we do get onto the network system independently. We'll make our own situation. We'll put a.
So it's actually secure as well, then?
Absolutely, yeah.
That's cool.
And we're using leaders in the market for controls, which they work massively with us, because we're opening a new market to them.
Yeah, because I was thinking that, your clients, you're really passionate about lights.
I love a light.
Yeah, but your clients don't really care, do they? What
don't
bits
know,
would
do
they
they?
be interested? No, it's like they want it to work. They want it done. Once it's set up and in, whether it's a refit or a brand new install, do they care?
Phil, do you know when I nearly tripped over your camera and broke it?
Yes.
And you nearly freaked?
Yeah.
Now, to me, that's a camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what a good camera, bad camera is.
Right.
You do, because I saw how you reacted.
Yeah.
However, a light to someone that makes, I don't know, biscuits or whatever, or car component, it's just a light.
But they're passionate about biscuits.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're all passionate about our own
little
things. So it's how. So I suppose it's maybe the client's understanding that they don't need to be passionate about lights, but if they work with you, they know that you've done all of that research. You've made sure it's got the best components. It's going to work.
My fellow owners, my fellow directors, I drive them mad, because still after 25 years in this industry, I'm still as passionate about everything.
That's brilliant.
I love it. I still walk around here and have a little play with the controls, and and that's, to me, the moment you lose that passion, it becomes about running a business, and just, to me, that's how you've gone, really.
And I think that's the same for life, isn't it? It's like life and business. It's like, actually, if you're really passionate about your business, what you do, and you genuinely want to give a good product and good service, that will come across, and your clients do see that. They see it straight away. And I think that's what they're looking for. If they know that the product's good, it's a tick. If they know that they're going to get the service, tick. If they know there's someone that actually is passionate about it and believes about it, they're going to go, okay, I want to work with that person, because they're going to, if something goes wrong, they're going to fix it. You know, if I need something, they're going to be on it.
Do you know something? I honestly believe that I would want all my competitors to produce a really quality product.
Okay.
I'm passionate about that, because if someone in our sector gets a poor LED or has a bad experience, then that's how they're gonna think LED is, or technology is.
Yeah.
So okay. Let's keep the quality up. Let's keep the standards up. And support British-made products, and that, to me, makes a healthier market, because
absolutely.
We can't all supply every light to every warehouse but you know, let's do a good job. Let's do a good job, and that
makes it a good industry to be in then as
absolutely.
well, doesn't it? Yeah.
Unfortunately, we struggle with this. I think there's a real issue with quality of products, but we have our choices, and it's my job and my passion to say, you know what, buy an Allumer product because it is market leading efficiency. You know, the way the market's gone in the last few years is we don't have to make our own LED boards to be the best.
Yeah.
We don't have to make our own optics. We can partner with quality component suppliers that give us absolutely brilliant warranties, a quality product, and we can package it all up to give to the client end user, because most of the component manufacturers don't make a whole light. We bring everything together as a nice recipe, and then it's there.
Yeah, based on the understanding of what is required for the client.
And evolution in products is massively important. You know, we're now 18 months in, and you know, our first product, we've now commissioned extrusions. We're now onto, you know, plastics, reusable, recyclable end caps, and we're looking at different ways to do things, better ways. You know, our first product, the Somme, we could use that for forever and a day. But do you know something? We're evolving, and we want to evolve, and we don't want to wring the neck out of it. We can reinvest, and that's where our founder Andy, who is the electrical consultant element of the business, so his attention to detail in the product is massive. You know, he picks it apart to see different elements that we would never even dreamt of. Which
that's powerful to have in the team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And Mike, you know, from an install point of view, he'll just say, "What? Nah, that's not going to happen."
And because he will know that if you place a wire there, it's actually not going to work within the greater infrastructure.
So with the guy, what you've done with our website, and when we demonstrate the products on the website, that's why we've not gone into, you know, the detail and the performance. Yeah, we've got all that. We can back that up. But some of the features I've worked with and helped introduce to products over the years, being on site from an Allumer point of view, you can explain it so many times. But contractors, unless you actually tell them and show them pictorially. So that's why we've done
People
the 3D.
like to see.
You know, the installation going onto the buzz bar and the clips, and a toolless fit for a contractor. I mean, up at 15 meters, not having to use a tool to put a product on it's just incredible.
Which is great,
You know, and most warehouses, you know, several hundred products. It's massive.
That's reducing the labour cost hugely as well, isn't it?
So and how do you get that across to somebody? I think this is where technology and AI and all this sort of multimedia comes into play in a different way. You know, websites, we don't want to listen. We want something intuitively. I see that. That's how it happens.
Is that why you're sort of talking to us now and kind of allowing people to watch that, so they can actually hear your passion, hear about the products in a different way, I suppose?
Well, I could reverse it around. When I met you guys originally, you know, I could see the passion that you had for your marketing, your ways of doing things, and that passion, you know, I mean, you're a lot older than me, Phil, anyway. But
Yeah, I'm a hell of a lot older. It's
but you're saying, you got your passion for your business, and that's what I had, and that's why this, and you're not just sticking to the normal route. You're looking at diversifying, the podcasting, getting people in that way.
People, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can go to a website design company and say, right, I want that.
Yeah, and anyone can
give me a few
promise
PDFs
anything as well. Yeah.
Nah, we're going to do it differently, Allumer, and we will continue to do it. We'll bright orange, we're fun, but you know what? There's a sting in the tail because we will deliver a quality product, and it will do what it says on the tin, and it'll add value.
Yeah, and I like that because we've got similar ethos there, haven't we? That we do like fun, but we're so professional in what we do.
Absolutely.
There's absolutely no way that anything coming out of our studio is going to be of poor quality or anything. We are strict on that, and you're the same with your products.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it can still be a fun journey for the client. Absolutely. It can be nice. You can have a chat. You can find out about people's families, about real life stuff.
Absolutely.
Get to know people whilst building a good, sustainable business and great products. Why shouldn't those two? In fact, I think they go extremely well together.
They do, don't they? Yes.
Yeah. What new ideas have you got coming up?
Well, our learning curve has been just insane.
Right.
So we spoke about the cardboard box and the visionary working around components. We realised the process was, although we've been in a long time in the industry, we've realised that there's a lot better ways of doing it. Getting to where we needed to get. And we've worked with design houses, and we've to a specification of what John wants. What my years of experience, what would my dream product be? And that dream product's now in production.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We've extruded, we've designed it around the latest LED boards, optics, controls. We're going to go from, lumen levels, which would work at sort of 4 or 5 meters, right up to 60, 70,000 lumens, which to you probably doesn't mean anything, but in our world, that's like going from a minibus to a double-decker
Okay.
bus.
Yeah.
Just does a lot. But those scenarios, you have to use it in the right scenario when we're optimizing spaces. But optimizing spaces then potentially creates a poor lit environment. But that's where the involvement of mesh networks and the PIRs that we showed you before come into their own.
Okay.
So we've got a fully extruded product, thermally managed to the nth degree, with in excess of 200 lumens per watt, a multitude of optics, fantastic emergency, all those features that I would want in a product will be able to go to market under the Allumer brand now. Made in Wolverhampton, sourced locally, extrusion sourced locally, competitively priced, focused on return on investment, just a really super product.
So in 18 months, that's quite a journey from cardboard box on the kitchen floor to state-of-the-art technology that you're about to bring out. So
and that's why it's so important with launching Allumer to the world. I feel like we're the biggest kept secret at the minute. All this branding and all this imagination that I've got and my vision, we want now to share with the industry.
Because you've been hugely successful within the 18 months of you starting.
Absolutely.
Without a website, without anyone seeing your branding, without any marketing at all.
Absolutely.
So fantastic. Yeah, okay.
No pressure, Kieran. No, but that's and the way, and we want to do it in an innovative way to the market, so it's interesting, so it's engaging, and we just don't want to do webinars where I sit around a table and go, I want my passion to come across to people.
It needs to be real, needs to be authentic, and it needs to, like, the product will speak for itself, but you need people to actually see and hear you and the passion, and actually understand that, it's manufactured in England. It's you know, in Wolverhampton, it's kind of everything's sourced locally. You know, we're not selling fine food, but we're the equivalent of locally sourced produce.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And why not?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? You know, anybody can sit on, anybody can import pre-made product.
Yeah.
And there is a market for that, most definitely.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that if we can support the local businesses and build an ecosystem around that, that's, I mean, there's quite a lot of value in that.
And I'm proud of what we've created to date, you know, through there's been some moments, you know, there's been some really mad moments where, like, can we pay the bills? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
But why are we doing it? Because it's a passion and I believe in it.
Yeah.
And if you believe in something and you've got enough passion and enthusiasm, it will come.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think that's what gets you through those moments in business and in life that keep you going. Because you've got that vision, you've got that passion, that belief that push you through those hardships. Yeah, and you've done that, haven't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
you've been through the mill.
Been through the mill, and you know what? You come out the other side stronger.
Yep.
And the future's orange.
Future's orange. I've heard that somewhere before.
Have you really?
But can we steal that now? It was Orange, wasn't it? So Orange is telecommunications company.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But they went bankrupt in the UK, but they're still in. They're definitely in Italy and Spain.
Well,
can we reclaim that?
Yeah, of course we
the
can.
Future's Orange. Allumer.
Yeah.
The Future's Orange.
Yeah.
And so, how important is knowledge?
You can always learn knowledge.
Yeah.
But I think you can't teach or you can't learn is passion and enthusiasm. You can have the most intelligently qualified person, but you can't teach them that passion and want to succeed. Passion and enthusiasm will always outweigh knowledge.
Yeah.
Because we can go and find what we need to go and find.
Yeah, yeah. And what about kind of imagination and creativity?
Absolutely. I mean, that is the underbelly of me. Yeah. That creativity and a vision. You know, I can see it before it's even there.
Yeah. Okay.
And sometimes that frustrates people around me. But I just say, get on the journey with me. Yeah. I know where I'm going.
Right.
Trust me.
Okay. Yeah.
But so far, so good. And you know, we've got a state-of-the-art workshop here. You know, it's a nice environment. It's got a good brand, and yeah, we're going places.
Yeah, future's bright.
Future's bright.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Phil.